Welcome, General. Mr. Commit. How's the traffic out there? All right. Welcome to the Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations. Today we will continue our examination of the most pressing issue facing the country, the war in Iraq. In past weeks, the subcommittee has looked into a number of aspects of the complex mission to man, train, and equip the Iraqi Security Forces. We've also looked at whatever plans we've been able to obtain to turn over security to them. We know how hard and difficult this work is, that our armed services have put a lot of effort into this difficult and dangerous project. Today's hearing will begin with a brief opening statement from Mr. Mark Commit, the Office of Assistant Secretary of Defense for International Security Affairs. He is the Deputy Secretary for the Middle East and South Asian Affairs. He will be followed by testimony from General Martin Dempsey, who until recently was the commander of Minsticky. I understand that you've been nominated to be the Deputy Commander of U.S. Central Command. In previous hearings, we had hoped to hear from witnesses on the command relationships and the responsibility of the Multinational Corps Iraq, called MNCI, and the Iraq Assistance Group, called the IAG. We would have benefited from their operational perspectives. In today's hearing, we will hear about the Multinational Security Transition Command Iraq and its Civilian Police Advisory Training Team. These organizations are charged with training and equipping the Iraqi police service and military, as well as managing transition advisory teams for the Ministries of Defense and Interior. CPAT also supervises the contractors who are international police liaison officers and international police trainers working with the Iraqi local police. Other issues we want to address include the role the military and police unit readiness and operational effectiveness reports play in assessing the performance of Iraqi security forces, particularly how they help commanders adjust to conditions on the ground. More importantly, we want to hear about the actions generated by these assessments and how the feedback is provided to Iraqi leaders. We want to hear from our guests frank appraisals of whether these performance assessments, called TRAs, provide an accurate picture of the operational competence of the Iraqi security forces. And we would like to hear your view, General Dempsey, on whether they are relevant and an adequate tool to help commanders judge whether the Iraqi forces are ready for transition. Our sense is that the military has shown some progress, the Iraqi police are not operating effectively, and the ministries are not even close to taking over responsibility. We're very surprised, given this impression, that the Iraqi police service responsibility has already been turned over to the MOI. I hope that you can explain your perspective on these issues. Part of the reason for this hearing is the Department of Defense has been slow to get us relevant documents, and it has been difficult for the subcommittee to get our preferred witnesses. The witnesses and briefers we have been offered have had to, on numerous occasions, had questions for the record. The responses to those questions have been very slow in coming to us, and I hope that we don't have the same problem today. Our members and the public should know, without disrespect intended towards General Dempsey, that it is taking a long time to get him before us. We appreciate his appearance at our hearing today, but I would note that we have not been supported in our efforts to secure testimony from commanders of the Multinational Force Iraq, the Coalition Police Advisory Training Team, and the Iraqi Assistance Group, or their knowledgeable deputies, even by video teleconference. General Dempsey, we were assured that you'd be able to answer questions on these other organizations, but I trust that if you can't, you will take them for the record. While we've been able to obtain the 2006 version of the Joint Campaign Plan, there are specific questions about the contents of a critical document that we have not been able to obtain. The 2007 Joint Campaign Plan, signed by the commander of the Multinational Forces Iraq and the Embassy, as it pertains to developing Iraqi security forces. We have been able to obtain the 2007 unclassified campaign plan for Minsticky, for developing the ISF, but we wonder how the new joint plan may affect this strategy. It's my understanding that Secretary Gates has not yet read that plan, and at some point it will be provided to this committee. Thank you for coming, Mr. Commit. I understand that you were advised that you may have some questions that we want to focus on General Dempsey's experience and observations from the theater. So I would hope that you make your remarks brief. One question that I'd like, if you could, in terms of addressing the committee. Originally, the House Armed Services staff was to be briefed yesterday on the department's quarterly report on Iraq, the 90-10 report. Now that the briefing has been rescheduled for this afternoon, and I believe the explanation that the director of J5 Strategy Division he was on leave and no one else could do it. I believe in the past that you and also the deputy J5 have briefed the staff. Given the difficulty in getting the general here and the inability of other witnesses who we wanted to talk to, it seems that we would have benefited if we could have had that briefing before this session. I point that out because we have had an ongoing difficulty with the department in terms of getting witnesses.